The Deep Space Observatory hung in silence above a red dwarf star. Its steel structure gleamed faintly in the dim light, like a lonely lantern in the middle of the void. For months, Daniel had been the only human here, assigned to study stellar activity and keep the station's systems running. It was supposed to be a routine mission: repair panels, record star flares, send reports back to Earth, but nothing about the silence of space was routine for him anymore. Daniel floated in the maintenance bay, fastening the last clasp of his suit. The oxygen tanks hissed softly behind him. The outer antenna array had stopped transmitting properly, and he had been delaying its repair for days. Tonight, or what counted as night in orbit, he finally decided to go out. He cycled through the airlock, gripping the tether clipped to his suit. The door slid open and the emptiness of space swallowed him. The star below pulsed like a beating heart, its crimson flares stretching across the black horizon. Daniel muttered to himself as he pushed off toward the antenna panel. His voice was muffled inside the helmet, a habit he had developed to fight loneliness. Just another day fixing broken things, he sighed. He reached the panel, tools in hand, when his suit sensors beeped. A sharp tone filled his ears. The display showed an anomaly, something massive moving behind the star's faint glow. Daniel turned. At first he thought it was debris, maybe an asteroid reflecting light. But then the shape grew clearer. A vessel glided silently from behind the star. It did not look like any human ship. Its surface was not made of metal but appeared alive, glimmering as if woven from liquid crystal. Tendrils of light ran across it like veins under skin. Daniel froze. His heart pounded against his chest. No way. First contact, he whispered, though no one was there to answer. The vessel slowed as if noticing him. Panels on its surface shifted like petals opening. From its core, a smaller pod detached and drifted toward him. Daniel's instincts screamed to retreat, but curiosity held him still. The pod unfolded. From within, a figure emerged. She floated effortlessly, her body glowing softly in the star's red reflection. Her skin shimmered like silver water under sunlight. Long strands of hair, seeming almost liquid themselves, drifted around her face. Her eyes, large and changing colors every second, locked on Daniel. He had never seen anything so strange and yet so breathtaking. The alien girl tilted her head slightly, as if studying him. No words left her mouth, yet Daniel felt something brush against his thoughts, a gentle whisper at the edge of his mind. "Who are you?" Daniel gasped, his grip tightening on the antenna frame. You can hear me?" Her lips curved slightly, though she had not spoken aloud. The voice echoed in his head again, clearer this time. "I hear, I see, but not all human. What is between your thoughts?" The word startled him. Between his thoughts? He had no idea what she meant. I'm Daniel," he stammered. "I'm just a researcher." "Who are you?" The alien girl floated closer, unbothered by the void. A faint halo of light surrounded her, protecting her from the emptiness of space. "Lysera," the voice replied. Her tone was calm, yet carried wonder. "I am of the Irinians. We listen, we know, but you—" She paused as if confused. "I cannot see clearly. Your mind is different. It is not one path. It breaks, it scatters. And between, there is something hidden." Daniel blinked. His mind raced, trying to find words. "Maybe. You mean imagination? Dreams?" The alien's eyes flickered with soft violet. Her presence pressed gently against his thoughts as if searching deeper. Yet even she seemed unable to reach the places he kept unspoken. Imagination. Dreams. She repeated slowly, as if tasting the words for the first time. Strange. Beautiful. Dangerous. Daniel's breath fogged inside the helmet. His fear faded, replaced by a growing fascination. She was not here to harm him, at least not yet. She was curious. Just like him. They floated silently for a moment, the vast red star blazing behind them. "Why are you here?" Daniel finally asked. Lysera tilted her head again. "We travel to know. We listen to all minds. But yours confuses me. No silence. No clarity, yet it pulls me." Her words left Daniel unsettled, yet strangely proud. For all his loneliness, for all the routine and boredom of his mission, suddenly he was the center of something far larger. A human, and an alien who could not fully read him. The station beeped softly in his ear, reminding him of oxygen limits. But Daniel ignored it. He could not let this end so soon. "Can we talk more?" he asked. Lysera's lips curved again, almost like a smile. Yes, human. I wish to know what lies between your thoughts. She drifted closer until she was only a few meters from him. The faint glow around her brushed against his suit. He felt warmth seep through, impossible in the cold of space. For the first time in months, Daniel did not feel alone. The encounter lasted longer than he realized. By the time he returned to the airlock, Lysera had followed, her pod gliding quietly behind. Daniel helped guide her inside the docking chamber, his heart racing with both excitement and fear. The chamber pressurized. The door sealed. Lysera stepped inside without the need for a suit. Her luminous skin shimmered softly under the artificial lights. Daniel removed his helmet, wiping sweat from his brow. He struggled for words. You can survive here? Without equipment? Lysera's voice filled his head once more. My form is protected. I shape the air. Do not fear. She moved closer, her curious eyes scanning every detail of the room. The blinking panels, the floating tools, even Daniel himself. She seemed both cautious and endlessly fascinated. Daniel felt nervous under her gaze. So, you really can hear my thoughts? Lysera shook her head gently. Not all, only what you let free. But between your thoughts, there is shadow and light. I cannot reach it. I wish to understand. Daniel hesitated, then smiled faintly. That's called privacy. Humans don't share everything in their heads. Sometimes, we don't even understand our own minds. Lysera blinked, stunned by the idea. Not understand. Your own mind? Yes, Daniel said softly. We have doubts. We imagine things that don't exist yet. Sometimes it scares us. Sometimes it gives us hope. The alien girl's shimmering eyes softened, colors shifting like a slow rainbow. This is new to me. To not know. To not see. It feels uncertain, yet alive. For a long moment, silence filled the chamber. Two beings from different worlds stared at one another, both realizing the same truth. This meeting was not an accident. It was the start of something greater. And though Daniel did not yet know it, his simple human mind, the very thing Lysera could not fully read, was about to change her world forever. The observatory was never designed for guests, especially not alien ones. The corridors were narrow, the air filled with the faint hum of recycled oxygen pumps. But as Daniel walked through them, he could not help glancing back at the figure following him. Lysera moved like flowing light. Her silver skin glimmered softly, and her hair drifted as if underwater, though there was no wind in the station. Every movement was graceful, calm, and precise. Yet her eyes, shifting colors like waves, betrayed endless curiosity. Daniel's heart beat faster each time she looked at him. He led her to the central lounge, a simple room with a round table, 2 chairs, and a wide viewport showing the endless stars. Usually it was where he ate quick meals while staring into the void. Tonight it became the stage for humanity's strangest conversation. Daniel sat down slowly. Lysera did not sit. She stood by the viewport gazing at the galaxy beyond. Her thoughts brushed gently against his mind again. So many stars, so much silence. Do humans not grow lost here? Daniel chuckled softly. All the time, she turned, tilting her head. Then why stay? Why float in this emptiness alone? Daniel hesitated, staring at his hands. Because it matters. The data I collect helps Earth understand stars. Helps our ships travel safely, I guess. Someone has to do it. Lysera studied him for a moment. Then her voice filled his head again, thoughtful and soft. You are alone, yet you serve others. Strange. Among my kind, no one is ever alone. Our thoughts join always. No silence. No hidden corners. Daniel raised his eyebrows. You mean, you can all hear each other's minds? Yes, she replied simply. Every thought, every feeling. We are one mind made of many voices. No confusion, no lies, no secrets. Daniel tried to imagine it. Living without privacy. Without doubt. Without the small lies people told themselves to keep moving forward. He could not. That sounds peaceful, he admitted. Lysera's eyes shimmered. Peaceful. Yes, but now I wonder, is it also empty? Her voice trembled faintly, as if the question unsettled her. She sat across from him at last, folding her slender hands on the table. For the first time she looked less like a radiant being and more like someone searching for an answer. When I reach into your mind, I find paths that split, ideas unfinished, shadows between light. I cannot read them, I cannot control them. Yet they draw me. Why? Daniel thought carefully. Maybe because humans don't always think in straight lines. Sometimes we imagine things that don't exist yet, or remember things that never happened but could have, or dream about impossible futures. Lizera frowned slightly, though her expression was still soft. To dream, to imagine, to hope for what does not exist. Why fill your mind with shadows? Daniel leaned back in his chair. He smiled faintly, remembering his childhood on Earth, the times he had looked at the night sky and dreamed of flying among the stars. Because sometimes shadows turn into light. A dream becomes real. That's how humans survive. We build what we imagine. Lizera's eyes glowed a deep blue, full of thought. Your thoughts are not only what is, they are what may be. That is what hides between them. For a moment, both were silent. The hum of the station seemed louder than before. Daniel realized that despite her beauty and power, Lizera was struggling with something. For the first time in her life, she had found something she could not fully understand, and that frightened her. Hours passed. They spoke more, sometimes with words, sometimes with thoughts. Daniel told her about Earth, green forests, blue oceans, cities alive with music and noise. He described laughter, art, and games. Lizera listened with quiet intensity, her shimmering eyes widening whenever he spoke of things that had no place in her world. Humans create sound for joy, not for need, she asked, surprised. Music, Daniel explained with a smile. It makes us feel things. Sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes calm, but why? Lizera pressed. Why add sound that has no meaning, no purpose? Daniel laughed. Because sometimes the purpose is just to feel. To share emotions we can't put into words. Lizera's expression softened, and for a moment she seemed almost vulnerable. We share feelings directly. No need for music, yet perhaps we lose something. Perhaps sound carries more than thoughts alone. Daniel leaned forward, resting his chin on his hand. Maybe it's like this. Thoughts are the walls of a house. Music is the light inside. Without it, the house is still there, but it feels empty. Lizera's lips curved slightly, almost a smile. Strange human. You speak in pictures, not only in truths, and I like it. Her voice lingered in his mind longer this time, warmer than before. Daniel felt his chest tighten, though he quickly pushed the feeling aside. This was more than curiosity. It was the birth of connection. The next day, Daniel guided Lizera through the observatory. She studied every panel, every system with fascination. He explained how humans used machines to survive where their bodies could not. You build walls of steel against the void, she observed. We shape our bodies to survive it. Different paths, same goal, Daniel nodded. That's what makes us human. We don't adapt ourselves, we adapt the world around us. Lizera paused at the large viewport again, staring at the red star burning outside. Your species, dangerous. To shape the world is power. To imagine new worlds, greater power still. Daniel frowned. Do you think we're dangerous? She turned to him, her eyes glowing gold. Yes, and beautiful. Both together. That is why I cannot stop looking. Daniel's heart skipped. He quickly busied himself with the nearest console, pretending to check readings. But her words lingered in his mind. Later, as they sat in the lounge again, Lizera grew quiet. Her gaze was distant, as if listening to something far away. What is it? Daniel asked. Her reply came slowly, with tension in her thoughts. My people. They reach for me. They ask why I stay. They fear what I find here. Daniel felt a chill run through him. Will they come? Perhaps, Lizera admitted. They do not understand humans. To them, your scattered thoughts mean danger, chaos. They believe only order is safe. Daniel swallowed hard. And you? Do you think I'm dangerous? Lizera looked at him for a long moment. Then she shook her head gently. No, you are not danger. You are possibility. Her words filled him with a strange warmth. Possibility. It was not love, not yet, but it was a beginning. She leaned closer, her luminous presence brushing against his thoughts again. Human, I will learn what lies between your thoughts, even if it takes all of time. Daniel met her gaze. For once, he did not feel like a lonely researcher on a forgotten station. He felt like a bridge between worlds. And though neither of them knew it yet, this fragile connection would soon be tested in ways neither could imagine. The red star burned steadily beyond the viewport, its light pouring into the observatory's lounge. Daniel and Lysera sat across from each other in silence. The station hummed quietly around them, a fragile home in the endless void. For days, their conversations had stretched into hours. Daniel had shared stories of Earth, festivals under glowing lights, children laughing in rain, the strange comfort of holding a warm cup of tea. Lysera had shared glimpses of her own world, vast oceans of crystal, skies that shimmered with living light, and voices always joined together like a chorus. Each word, each exchange, pulled them closer. Yet tonight, something hung heavy in the air. Lysera's glowing eyes dimmed as if clouds had crossed them. She sat stiffly, hands folded tight. Daniel noticed her silence and frowned. "What's wrong?" he asked gently. Her voice entered his mind slowly with hesitation. "They are here." Daniel stiffened. "Who?" "My people," she whispered. "The Iranians. They have followed. They fear my silence. They fear what I am learning from you." Daniel's stomach tightened. He pushed himself up and hurried to the console by the wall. His fingers flew across the keys, pulling up the external sensors. The screen flashed with readings, multiple signatures, large vessels. Approaching fast, Daniel's breath caught. How many?" Lysera's eyes glowed faint blue. "A fleet. Not to destroy, but to take me away." He turned to her, heart racing. "And me?" She looked down, her expression unreadable. "They do not trust your kind. They will erase your memory. You will forget I was ever here." Daniel stared, frozen. Forget after everything? After nights of sharing thoughts and dreams with her? The idea struck him harder than fear of death. "No," he said firmly, shaking his head. "I won't let them." Lysera's eyes flickered with silver light. "You cannot fight them, Daniel. They are many. Their mind is one. Yours is only yours." "Then help me," Daniel replied. "If you believe there's something worth learning in me, don't let them erase it." She hesitated. For the first time, doubt clouded her perfect calm. Her voice trembled in his head. "To stand against them is to stand against all I have ever known." Daniel stepped closer, his voice steady though his heart pounded. "Then maybe it's time to choose what you want to know, them or me." Silence pressed between them, heavy as stone. The station shuddered softly as the alien fleet arrived. Through the viewport, Daniel saw them. Vast vessels like floating cathedrals of crystal, their surfaces glowing with inner light. They moved with perfect symmetry, each one a mirror of the other. Lysera stood tall, though her eyes revealed her inner conflict. She reached toward the glass, watching her people draw near. "They call to me. They demand I return. They do not understand why I remain here with you." Daniel clenched his fists. "Then explain it to them. Tell them why." Her eyes shifted to Violet, uncertain. "They will not listen. To them, humans are chaos, shadows. You break the unity of thought. They fear what they cannot see." Daniel gave a small, humorless laugh. "Yeah, humans have always been feared for that. We don't fit neat boxes, but maybe that's exactly why we matter." Lysera turned to him sharply, her glow brightening. "You believe your scattered mind is strength?" "Yes," Daniel said firmly. "Because out of the mess we create, out of confusion we find new paths. If they erase me, they erase the one thing they don't understand and maybe the one thing they need." Her eyes softened. She looked at him as though seeing him anew. The console beeped. An incoming transmission. The speakers filled with a voice, not one but many blended together. Smooth, echoing, flawless, Lysera, child of the Iranians. "Why do you linger in shadow? Return, the human must forget. This is not for them." Lysera closed her eyes, her hands trembling. She answered not with her mouth but with her thoughts projected into the comms. "Elders. I remain because I cannot see him fully. His mind is not as ours. There are places between his thoughts, unknown, unshaped. I must understand them," the voice replied sharply like crystal striking stone. "Unknown is danger. Unshaped is corruption. Return. End this." Daniel stepped forward, anger burning in his chest. "I'm right here. You don't even know us, but you call us danger? At least give me a chance to show you what we are." The voice ignored him, speaking only to Lysera. "He clouds you. His chaos touches your mind. Break from him, or we shall break you both." Lysera gasped, her glow dimming. She turned to Daniel, her expression torn. "They will harm you. Leave. Hide. Save yourself." Daniel shook his head. "No, I won't hide. If they want to erase me, they'll have to hear me first." Lysera stared at him, stunned. No one had ever defied her people so openly, not without fear. And yet here was a human, small, fragile, standing against an empire of minds united. And for the first time, she felt pride in him. Moments later, a beam of light cut through the void. It struck the observatory, wrapping the station in shimmering energy. Daniel felt the floor vibrate. His head rang with pressure as if invisible fingers pushed into his thoughts. He staggered, clutching the table. What's happening? Lysera's eyes widened in alarm. They probe you. They search your mind. Daniel grit his teeth. His skull throbbed with alien whispers, cold and sharp. Images of his childhood, his fears, his loneliness, all tore through him like pages ripped from a book. He fell to his knees. Lysera rushed to his side, her glow flaring bright. "Stop, he cannot withstand it!" The voice of the Irinians filled the room again, but now it carried surprise, fragmented, broken, yet alive. Shadows between thought, noise that is not noise. Lysera cradled Daniel's shoulders, shielding him with her own energy. She shouted into their minds. "Do you see now? He is more than danger. He is more than chaos." But the chorus replied coldly. "Chaos cannot guide us. Remove it. Erase it. Cleanse." Daniel groaned, his vision blurring. He could barely hear, barely think. But through the pain, one thought burned clear. If they took his memories, all of this, her face, her voice, the wonder of first contact, would be gone forever. He forced himself to speak, his voice raw. Don't let them win, Lysera. You know I'm more than chaos." His words struck something deep within her. She looked down at him, trembling. In that moment, she made her choice. Lysera rose, standing tall. Her glow blazed until the entire lounge was bathed in silver light. Her voice rang out not only to Daniel but to the fleet beyond the stars. "Irinians, hear me, I will not return. I will not let you erase him. What lies between his thoughts is not danger. It is possibility. It is creation. It is what we have lost in our perfect unity." The chorus faltered. For the first time, silence filled the channel. Daniel blinked up at her, barely holding consciousness. She stood like a pillar of light, her presence defiant against the weight of her own people. Finally, the voice returned, colder than before. "You choose the human. Then you are no longer of us." The light outside dimmed. The fleet began to withdraw, their vessels turning slowly back toward the stars. Lysera's glow softened. She dropped to her knees beside Daniel, placing her hand against his chest. Her eyes shimmered with emotion. "They will not return for me again. I am cast away." Daniel managed a weak smile. "Then, you're one of us now." Her lips curved faintly. She touched his temple with her hand, her warmth easing the pain in his head. "Yes, one of you. And with you, I will learn what no Irinian ever dared to know." The red star pulsed beyond the window, as if marking the moment. In that fragile silence, a human and an alien girl, once strangers, now united, prepared to face a future neither could predict. The observatory was quiet now, though tension still lingered like a heavy fog. The red star outside shone steadily, casting long streaks of light across the metallic floors. Daniel sat on the floor of the lounge, still recovering from the psychic onslaught the Irinians had tried to impose. His head ached, his thoughts scattered, yet he was alive. Lysera floated beside him, her silver glow dimmed but steady. She touched his shoulder gently, her presence soothing. "You are stronger than I imagined," she said softly in his mind. Few humans could have endured that. Daniel managed a weak smile. "I told you, we're unpredictable." She tilted her head, her hair floating around her face like a silver halo. "Yes, but strength alone does not explain the wonder I sense within you. I must understand it fully, or I risk losing it." Daniel's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" Lysera hesitated. "There is a trial. Among my people, one cannot remain if one chooses to defy the chorus. You must undergo it, not for punishment, but for proof." Daniel frowned. "Proof of what?" "Proof that humans are not chaos alone, that what lies between your thoughts is something more." He blinked slowly, trying to grasp her words. "So they want to test me?" "Yes," Daniel's heart skipped. "Like torture?" Lysera's glow pulsed with uncertainty. "It is not meant to harm, but your mind will be exposed. Every hidden corner, every shadow. You may see things in yourself you never knew existed. Only then, will they believe." Daniel inhaled deeply. He had faced extreme isolation, dangerous repairs, and the void of space itself. But now an alien probe of the mind awaited him, a trial that could unravel everything he was. And yet, he felt no fear strong enough to stop him. "I'll do it," he said firmly. "If this is the only way, I'll show them what humans are." Lysera's eyes shone soft and deep. "Then you must prepare. I will guide you." The next hours were strange and disorienting. Lysera moved around the station, adjusting systems, guiding Daniel to remain calm. She taught him breathing techniques that felt like meditation, helping him focus despite the growing tension in his mind. "You must not fight it," she instructed. "Your mind will be probed. If you resist, it will break you. Instead, let it flow. Let them see everything." Daniel nodded, closing his eyes. "Everything? Even the messy stuff?" Lysera's lips curved faintly. "Especially the messy stuff. That is the part they cannot see. That is what makes you human." Finally, the Irinians arrived, not as an aggressive fleet this time, but as a single massive vessel. It hovered near the observatory like a crystal mountain in space. From within, a projection of their chorus appeared, composed of flowing lights and synchronized patterns. They spoke as one, their voice resonating in Daniel's mind. "Human, prepare to reveal yourself. Only then shall your value be judged." Daniel swallowed. He had no choice but to step forward. Lysera held his hand gently. "I will be with you," she whispered. "Do not fear what is hidden. It is not weakness," he nodded. Together, they entered a small chamber at the center of the observatory. Lysera touched the wall and a soft blue light spread around them, forming a protective cocoon. "This will hold you while the trial begins," she explained. "They cannot harm you here physically. Only your mind is exposed." Daniel took a deep breath. "Then let's do this." The probe began as a soft hum, almost imperceptible. At first, Daniel felt only a gentle pressure against his thoughts, like someone brushing his mind with invisible fingers. Then it deepened. Suddenly, memories surged. His earliest moments on Earth, the smell of rain on dry soil, the warmth of his mother's hands, laughter of friends long gone, flashed before him. He could not control them. They appeared in brilliant color in every sense: smell, sound, touch, emotion. He gasped. "I can feel it. Everything," he thought. Lysera floated close, her hand hovering above his shoulder. "Do not resist. Let them see. Every memory, every spark of imagination." Daniel obeyed. The probe drew deeper, pulling hidden thoughts from the shadows of his mind. He saw fears he had never admitted. The fear of being alone forever, the fear of failing, the fear that no one would ever understand him. And yet, alongside them there were dreams. Flying among the stars, creating things that could not yet exist, imagining worlds beyond the reach of his senses. The Irinians' chorus reacted immediately. Their synchronized voice, usually calm and unwavering, faltered. Impossible creation. Divergent paths. Daniel's mind filled with strange clarity. He realized that what Lysera had found in him, what she called between thought, was the human capacity to imagine, to create, to hope even against certainty. He closed his eyes, letting the probe show them every corner of his mind. Childhood sketches, poems written in secret, stories he had never shared, inventions half-formed. All poured forth in a flood of color and feeling, and then came something stranger. Daniel began to imagine. He let his mind wander, unshackled by fear or reason. He pictured stars forming into shapes that had never existed, cities floating in the void, creatures of light and crystal dancing in harmony. The Irinians recoiled in unison. "This is not reality. This is creation without form, chaos." Lysera's hand pressed gently against Daniel's temple. "Do not fear their judgment. They will learn." As the trial continued, something remarkable happened. The Irinians began to understand, not fully but enough. They saw that Daniel's scattered thoughts, his chaos, were not weakness. They were the source of possibilities. The things that lay hidden between his thoughts were seeds of new worlds, new ideas and new understanding. The probe pulsed with energy, and Daniel felt a sudden connection, not to the Irinians but to the potential they could not see. "I am more than my fears, more than my memories. I am creation itself." Lysera's glow intensified, bathing the chamber in silver light. "Yes, human, you are what we have lost in perfect unity." Hours passed, though they felt like minutes. Finally, the probe withdrew. Daniel fell to his knees, exhausted, his mind a whirlwind of images and feelings. Lysera caught him immediately, supporting him as his body shook. "You have endured," she said softly. "You have shown them the strength of what is between your thoughts." The projection of the chorus shimmered outside. Their collective voice was calmer now, tinged with something Daniel could almost feel as awe. "We see now, your mind is different, not weak, not dangerous, but extraordinary." Daniel lifted his head weakly. He met Lysera's glowing eyes and whispered, "Did they understand?" She smiled, faint but real. "They have glimpsed it. Not fully, but enough to know that humans are more than they imagined, and you have given me hope that one day they may learn fully." Daniel laughed softly, a sound full of relief and wonder. "I guess even aliens can learn." Lysera's glow flickered with amusement. "Even we must begin somewhere, and now I begin with you," the chamber quieted. The red star outside continued its steady burn, a witness to the extraordinary event. In that moment, Daniel realized something profound. The things between human thoughts, imagination, dreams, hope, were invisible, yet unstoppable. He looked at Lysera and felt an unspoken understanding pass between them. This bond, formed in shared wonder, in courage, in defiance of expectation, was the first of many. Together they could explore not only the universe outside, but the universe within each mind. The Irinians withdrew their presence slowly, leaving only echoes of their awareness behind. For the first time, Daniel and Lysera were truly alone, not in fear, not in silence, but in possibility. Daniel sat back, exhausted yet exhilarated. "So can what now?" Lysera floated closer, her hand brushing his gently. "Now can we continue? There is much to learn, much to imagine, and many mysteries yet unseen. Between your thoughts, human, lies everything." Daniel smiled, feeling warmth spread through his chest. "Then let's see where it takes us." And beyond the stars, the universe seemed to pause, waiting to see what would come from the first human and the alien girl who dared to explore what no one else could see. The red star continued its steady burn outside the observatory's viewport, bathing the station in a warm orange-red glow. Daniel leaned against the console, exhausted but exhilarated. The trial of the Irinians had ended, and yet the effects still lingered in his mind. He could feel it, the strange weight of thoughts being seen, examined, and appreciated by beings so different from himself. Lysera floated nearby, her silver glow gentle, her eyes soft and shimmering with understanding. She had never looked more radiant or more alive. "You endured more than I expected," she whispered in his mind. "And yet, you are still capable of wonder." Daniel smiled faintly. "I told you, we humans, we're messy, unpredictable, but maybe that's what makes us strong." Her eyes flickered like liquid starlight. "Strength, hope, creation. I see now that these things exist not only in survival but between your thoughts, and that is extraordinary." He nodded, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. "You believe it now?" Lysera tilted her head. "Yes, the chorus has seen what lies hidden in your mind. They understand in part that human thoughts are not chaos. They are potential. They are invention. They are life itself." Daniel laughed softly. "So even the most perfect minds can be surprised." Her lips curved faintly in a smile. "Even we." For the next days, the station became a place of quiet exploration. Lysera and Daniel spent hours discussing everything: human dreams, alien perceptions, the stars beyond, and the mysteries of their respective worlds. Lysera asked endless questions. Why do humans write stories? Why do you create art that cannot feed or protect you? Why do you laugh at nothing? Daniel answered with care. Because it's part of what makes life meaningful. Not everything needs purpose. Sometimes, the act of imagining is the purpose itself. Lysera's eyes shimmered with deep understanding. Purpose without necessity, creation without function. That is strange. That is human. And yet it was also beautiful. He showed her human music, playing recordings of violin, piano, and voices singing in harmony. She listened, floating in awe, feeling vibrations that resonated with thoughts and emotions she could not express in words. Your species creates emotion from nothing, she said finally. It is not efficient. It is not practical. Yet it moves me. Daniel smiled. That's the idea, to feel, even if there's no reason. Lysera nodded slowly. Perhaps that is what we have been missing in perfect unity, There is no gap, no shadow, and yet something is lost. The silence that followed was full of meaning. For the first time, she felt the value of human imperfection, the spaces between certainty, the unpredictability, the imagination. But even in quiet moments, reality remained. Lysera's people, the Irinians, had not forgotten her. Their presence lingered in the background, a constant hum of awareness that stretched across the stars. One evening, Daniel looked at the stars and spoke aloud. "Do you think they'll come back?" Lysera's eyes reflected the red glow of the star. Perhaps, but now they know. They have seen what lies between human thoughts. They cannot destroy it, they cannot erase it, and they cannot force me back to a life without it. Daniel's heart swelled. "Then you're free?" She smiled softly. "Free, and now, I choose to remain with you, to learn, to see, to experience the universe as you do." For the first time, Lysera's expression carried a mixture of joy and wonder. She had always understood perfection, order, and unity, but here, with Daniel, she discovered uncertainty, imagination, and emotion in their purest forms. "I am one of you now," she whispered in his mind. Daniel reached out and took her hand. Her skin was warm, not cold like crystal, not distant. "Then let's see what we can discover together." Days turned into weeks. Lysera began learning human ways, observing small habits and quirks that fascinated her. She marveled at laughter shared between friends, at the simple joy of sunlight on skin, concepts she had never truly understood in her perfect society. Daniel, in turn, taught her about survival in the observatory, the science of stars, and the fragility of human life. She listened with endless fascination, absorbing every word, every gesture. Together, they built small inventions, combining human creativity with Lysera's alien perspective, tools for exploration, devices for studying distant stars, even simple machines to manipulate gravity inside the observatory. Each creation was a bridge between their species, proof that their collaboration was more than possible. It was extraordinary. One evening, as the red star sank behind the horizon, Daniel and Lysera sat in the lounge, watching the first glimpse of a distant blue planet appear through the viewport. "It's beautiful," Daniel whispered. Lysera nodded, her eyes reflecting the tiny orb. "Yes, and it reminds me of why we continue. Possibility lies everywhere, not only in thought, but in the worlds that may be shaped." He smiled. "Then we have work to do. Lots of it." She floated closer, her hand brushing his. "Together, human. You and I. We will see what lies beyond." And between word of their defiance had reached the distant Irinians. Their fleet, once rigid and inflexible, now moved differently. They no longer sought to erase, to force, or to command. Instead, they observed from afar, studying the human mind and Lysera's choice. Among the chorus, whispers of doubt had begun to grow. Perhaps they were wrong. Perhaps chaos is not weakness. Perhaps the spaces between thought are strength. And far away, a small seed of admiration for humanity had been planted, a recognition that some truths cannot be measured by perfection alone. Weeks turned into months. Lysera had fully integrated into Daniel's world. She learned not only to survive in a human environment, but to enjoy it. She watched Earth's broadcasts, studied human history, and laughed at human humor. Her favorite moments, however, were quiet. Evenings spent staring at the stars, sharing thoughts with Daniel, exploring the endless possibilities of imagination. One night, while floating near the observatory's large viewport, Lysera turned to him. "Human, I have seen much since I arrived. Stars, worlds, civilizations, but nothing compares to what I find in you. Between your thoughts, there is a universe." Daniel felt a warmth spread through his chest. "And I in you," he said softly. "Between your light and mine, we can create anything." Lysera smiled faintly, her hair drifting like liquid silver. "Then we begin, human, together." From that moment, the observatory was no longer a lonely outpost in the void. It became a beacon, a bridge between species, a place where curiosity and imagination met courage and wonder. Daniel and Lysera explored not only the stars but the depths of the mind, proving that what lay between human thoughts, unseen, unmeasured, unpredictable, was more powerful than any fleet, more enduring than any crystal mind. and more extraordinary than even the most perfect civilization could comprehend. The red star burned steadily outside, a witness to their partnership. And far across the universe, the Iranians began to reconsider everything they had believed about humans, imagination, and the unknown spaces that could not be controlled. For Daniel and Lysera, the future stretched before them like an endless sky of possibilities, bright with stars, alive with thought, and shimmering with the promise of discovery. Together they had become the bridge, the living proof that between human thoughts lay not chaos, but the spark of everything yet to come. And in the quiet of that observatory they began a new journey, one that would take them across the stars, into imagination itself, and into the infinite universe between two minds.